Well, these are the top four at the moment. Tottenham are in sixth. Everton's... we don't even talk about these, do we? No one's even... They couldn't possibly do it, Tim, could they?
Beginning of the season, we lined up 50 pundits and we said, who's getting relegated? Sheffield United would be in the argument.
Yeah, they would.
OK, so anyone, if they're being honest, they would say they would be in the argument. They have surprised everyone. Surprising the supporters are out there and learning about them all over the world. We're having to learn about them as pundits. Yeah. You know, these guys have not even seen the Premier League, a lot of them.
No.
You know, they've taken it by storm and they've been outstanding. Now, I always check myself and say, you know, when Leicester were going for the title, I was waiting for the wheels to come off. It's the same scenario with Sheffield United. Can they finish in the top four? I give them absolutely no chance. But the miracles do happen. We saw it with Leicester, lifting the Premier League title. I believe they're unstoppable at the moment. I mean, they've got such belief. The manager's done an unbelievable job to give them the confidence to go toe-to-toe and play the style and the philosophy of what he adapts. In every single game, they don't change.
No.
They don't change the way they play. They say, this is us. They're catching teams by surprise because they're still learning about them, the opposition, and they're pushing right up the league. And listen, they're with no pressure. Everyone else, you know, you look at Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, they all have to be in the top four.
Could United do it, Tim? Do you think United... I mean, look, the gap is 6.
Yeah.
If Chelsea... If they go to the bridge and win, then obviously they halve that. Can they still get in the top four?
Yeah, I think they can. All the way down to 9th, I say, and Wolves, I think have got an opportunity. I think Arsenal might have too much to do.
Okay.
Might have too much to do. They're a little bit far away, but who knows? With the good players, what they have in their squad, they can put a run together. Defensively, they're not good enough, Arsenal.
Let's go to the two teams. Let's have a look at this is obviously the two teams from their previous fixture. So that, of course, we're only assuming in terms of personnel here, and first and foremost, we're going to come on to United in some depth in a little while in the show. But I want to focus a little bit for now on this Chelsea team.
Yeah.
Do you think Frank Lampard has made a serious call on putting Caballero in? And by serious, I mean, is it one of those ones where he doesn't fancy Kepa, or is he just giving him a bit of a breather?
I think he hasn't been great. He's a record goal
signing for a goalkeeper. Yeah.
So that's a huge amount of money to leave on the sidelines. So the hierarchy there, Mr. Abramovich will not be pleased that a player of such value is sitting on the bench, and Caballero, who's a stopgap goalkeeper, brought in to be number 3 at the club, is actually the number 1 at the moment.
Yeah.
But as a manager, you have to make the correct decisions for the side. And Frank is only picking Caballero, not because of any personal reasons, because he believes at the moment he's the best for the side to win football matches. So that's why he's giving him a chance. Wherever he keeps with him, I think it's really unhealthy to keep chopping and changing goalkeepers.
I agree.
How do you expect Caballero to get a run of form and get some confidence if you keep bringing him out and putting Kepa back in? I think he sticks with Caballero. I think he's done nothing wrong in the last game. Little bit of a hesitancy when he comes chasing out against Leicester, you know, and he gets back in. But Kepa has made big mistakes as well. So I think he'd be talking to experienced players like Azpilicueta and Rudiger and saying, maybe, who do you want?
Yeah.
Who do you want? I know what I fancy. And he was just picking a lot of his experienced players' brains and then coming to the right solution. At the moment, I think he sticks with him.
I wonder if Caballero's tempted at all at any point to maybe make out he's injured and go like that to the bench to let Kepa get warmed up and then go, no, you're right, you stay where you are, I'm fine. Yeah, exactly. But look, the back four, we've got Azpilicueta playing as a left-back. He's done that because he doesn't appear to have tremendous faith, Frank Lampard, in Marcus Alonso in a 4 or Emerson. And he's obviously played this young man, a player that you've watched and watched him develop, Reece James. How good is he, Tim? And can he now make that position his own for some time to come?
I think he has already. Right. I think Frank knew how good he was. He was on loan at Wigan in the Championship. And he played for my friend Paul Cook, someone we know very well who played with us. And he said he played him here at right back. He also played him in central defence. He played him in central midfield to get him on the ball more, because he was good. He was the best player they had in every single position on the pitch. He is that good, this kid. He's got pace. He's got real authority about him. He can get forward. He's got good delivery in the final third, which Frank wants his fullbacks to push forward. I think he's made his mind up that he is his right back for years and years to come. Christensen, question marks. I believe he comes out and Tomori will come into the side in that position to cope with the pace Man United have on the counter-attack, which we'll talk about later on.
Let's do that, Tim. Let's make that change. We'll do that. We'll put Tomori in there.
Yeah, I think his midfield. I mean, there's still the same debate, is there? I mean, we see him win 2 trophies, didn't we? 2 Premier League trophies with Leicester and with Chelsea.
Hardly lost a game for about 3 years.
Playing in there and just sweeping up on his own. He doesn't need any help. He doesn't need Jorginho in there with him. He can do that job in his own. He's all about energy. He's all about reading danger. Now, Frank has almost gone the same way. He's pushed him forward like Sarri did and using Jorginho to link the play. Yes, he's better in possession than Kante is, but I believe I could push him forward. I would push him forward and have Kante in there on his own. And I think on Sunday, what he will do that.
On Monday,
he'll play 2 of them on Monday night.
Yeah, I think you might do that. What about this young man? Again, I've been really impressed with Mason Mount at the start of the season. We've seen him operate here in this 10 position. We've also seen him coming off of one side a little bit more. Again, to good effect. I don't think he'll go that way, Tim, on Monday night. Do you? No. Willian will definitely probably come in. I would have... sorry, I'll take Pedro off first. I would have thought Willian will come in for somebody. Whether it's Pedro, whether it's on this side, whether Hudson-Odoi starts, I don't know. What do you think?
I think they might thicken up the midfield a little bit more. I think Hudson-Odoi won't play.
Right.
I believe Kovacic, who Frank likes, who's been playing well in recent weeks, will come in there. They'll play 3 across the midfield. I think Jorginho will play in the middle. I think they'll play like that, push Mason a little bit further forward. And Willian,
right?
Yeah, just floating in and around. He can come in here. Yep. He can come in here. It might be this side.
That makes sense.
Maybe. And Mason can come deep. He can give them the pace, getting forward there. They can push their fullbacks on. But Kovacic, Jorginho and Kante will shift the cross and they will cover danger. If it needs to come across there, they'll all shift across here and they will leave Man United to have the big switch.
Okay. Interesting. Yep. So I like the look of that. I like the shape of that. Now, one guy that we haven't mentioned up to now is this young man, Tammy Abraham. He's had an outstanding start to the season. I think everyone will agree how good he's been. His numbers, Tim, this is quite interesting because at the start of the season, his first 12 matches, 10 goals, which was a blistering start by anybody's standards. The last 12, it's dropped away, and there's some quite interesting numbers in there that are quite significant. I know when we just spoke about this just before we come on air, you said, wow, he's had 80 touches in the opposition box over the last 12 matches, and he's only managed to convert that into 3 finishes. Yes, he's got an assist in there. So what do you make of him overall? What do you make of him right now, where he is going into this game?
I think it's right to factor in the fact that in the first 12 matches, Chelsea had 26 points. And in the last 13 matches, they've only had 15 points. So the team as a whole has dropped off. So it's not only Tammy Abraham. And when you're on number 9, the team drops off and they're not giving you as much chances at goal and your conversion rate is down, but your touches in the box, yes, he will want to improve. He has had a few injuries. He has picked up. He's a little bit stop-start in the last 13 matches.
Correct.
But he set off like a house on fire, didn't he? You know, in the first 12. I like Tammy. I think he's a player for the future. I think he's still developing. He can still get better. And I think it's harsh on him to judge him with other strikers, what Chelsea have had in the past, because of one reason: Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard made so many goals as that little number 10 genius for the number 9 there. He hasn't had that. He hasn't had the luxury of playing with that genius.
Very true. Very, very good point. Let's go back to the first Sunday of this season, where Chelsea were at United. They actually played in the first half very well. Tammy gave a little indicator to him of what he's all about with this strike early on, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this is his strength here. This way he just pushes. I think it was Marcus Rashford tried to nick that in front of him. Wow. Just instinctive shot. When he scored at every level where he's been at Chelsea, he's played around the penalty area and he scores goals. Always tick the box. He went on loan, didn't he? He's been in the Championship, went to Bristol. He's been there. He scores. Wherever you give him a chance, he will score goals, as we'll see. He's a penalty box striker. For me, he needs to learn the game outside of the box better. Right. But Frank needs to help him here.
So this is this is one of them instances you're talking about where ball in the left-back position. If you watch Tammy, he wants to filter. Now he's decided he's coming into the ball.
Nothing wrong with that, Andy. If he wants to come into these areas here, he wants to come in there to get the ball there. Then Ross Barkley has to see that. And he has to occupy this area here and bomb forward. They're both coming in and closing the space in the same area of the field. For me, Giroud would do this come short.
He would.
Why would he do that? Because he can't run.
Yeah.
But Tammy can run. That's one of his strengths. I don't mind him showing here. If we go, I don't mind him coming in here, Andy, and showing in here.
Yeah.
But show to spin. Show to spin and get yourself in these areas of the field. If Ross is going to come into this area and try and get the ball here.
Yeah.
But he needs to do that more. He needs to threaten the defenders in behind. And I think he comes in there far too much.
Yeah, breaks down. Easy to mark there, aren't you? As a centre forward, you're far easier to mark in those scenarios. Another example, this is going on a few weeks, Tim. This was a great game at Norwich when Chelsea were up at Norwich, and a great victory for them. Tammy scored 2 good goals. Again, here in this sort of situation, is this another one where you'd prefer to see that sort of run, or even that sort of run where he's diving into that gully?
I think the reason they get, if you hold it here, Andy, the reason they get away with that is because this is his mate who he's played in the youth team with for so many years. Where are we?
Have one more go.
There he goes.
There we go.
He just sees him. That's Mason Mount. So he knows he's coming off short. They know each other's game inside out. So he's just gonna bend his run and get it off the face of Tammy. I don't think that's where I want him. I want him in there. I want him making runs in behind.
Stretching teams.
Stretching teams in behind. But they get away with this one. This is an absolute excellent goal. But look at Mason off the face of him. Yep, first time layoff. Great switch of play off his wrong foot. And this is the boy they've missed, Pulisic.
Yeah.
Missed him. You know, he's been out injured. Get down the outside, and that is just an unbelievable finish.
And I know that there's something with this finish. It's a great goal, but you want everyone to focus just on Tammy here.
If you focus on Tammy, he watches this ball all of the way. And he's got a little skip just to compose himself. He does it time and time again. Looks to skip. There it is. Little skip and a great finish. Concentration.
Lovely hit.
Just hitting taking the strike and making good contact on the football.
This is a better example, Tim, of perhaps playing against a young man that you're not quite so sure about, because there's the Wolves are holding a reasonably high line there, and that offers Tammy that space, Tim, doesn't it?
That's the space. This is a space what Tammy wants. Now, Tammy drags him in. He drags him in a little bit here. But he drags him in while the player, if you look at the players in possession, when he gets the ball here, they're not even facing Tammy. So they can't find him. His timing of getting in here is perfect. Because you watch, when the receiver gets the ball, when he gets his head up, Tammy's gone. Now's the time. He shows him his number, and he's absolutely attacking this space in there, and Connor Cody does not know what to do. It's not actually a good ball, but he holds him off with his left arm there, the strength, and that is a bit of magic. That takes Connor Cody by surprise. We're all learning about Tammy Abraham. Connor knows nothing about Tammy, but he knows now, because everyone saw that and thought, wow, from a standing start, how sharp was he? Knocked it into that area and a great finish into the far corner.
So if the first 12 games we know that he was brilliant, he was blistering, and he was playing free and with confidence. So yes, and the team were picking up a lot of points, as you mentioned, Tim. So what's the significant change then over this last 12 games where we've seen not only the team's performances drop away, but also the strikers a bit?
He's suffering. You're seeing a lot of this, Andy. Teams sitting deep.
Two banks of
4 or
5 and a
2 banks of 4.
Where's
Where's the space? Can he run in behind where his strengths are? Not really. Not so really. Easy. I mean, because the goalkeeper would just come off his line there and collect everything on there. So there's no space for him to start threatening people in behind.
No.
So he finds it a little bit tighter. That's when you need the Eden Hazard. That's when you need cute players who can operate in tight areas. Look, absolutely no space. No space.
See there, look, he's actually saying there, but that's such a tough ball, isn't it, for one of your defenders to chip that over an opposing player's head and drop it on his foot.
I think as a coach, you have to accept that sometimes you have to play direct. You need to play that ball onto him, not necessarily for him to win it, but then if you stop it there, Andy, if you win it, to get the knockdowns in these areas, and then your little guys can pick up the ball.
Pick it up there and start making...
It might not be tidy. It might not be intricate little passing, which is nice and clean. It might be hit Tammy Abraham, who will challenge. He is willing. He is a big guy, 6'5". He might not win it, but they will head it down into these areas. Then you can play. I think you need to mix the game up a lot more. Chelsea are trying to be too pretty all of the time.
Maybe some of that worked in. We saw from Mason Mount and Tammy in those first couple of matches, in the first 6-7 matches. They were so good. Maybe that's why a lot of teams have decided, let's give ourselves another 10 or 15 yards deeper. And that's where Chelsea, I think, have found it difficult, these sort of areas. to break teams down, to try and thread things and find a way through. Man City do it brilliantly because they get their fullbacks right up at the top of the field. Chelsea don't quite operate in the same manner as that. These are half chances that end up coming Tammy's way again.
The ball was here, Andy. I would just hit Tammy. Just hit him.
Right,
just
put
hit
it
him.
in there.
Yeah, it's a little bit crude. It's a little bit crude in there. Well, that line's not very good. But there's a knockdown ball. It's coming into not that necessarily there.
Let's do it again. So do that again.
So we hit Tammy Abraham into there. Just the ball was out here, wasn't it?
Yep.
So hit him there.
Put that in.
And then you've got the areas to pick the ball up.
Yeah.
In here.
Yep.
In here. So and then the Ross Barkleys and the Pedros and the Williams can
start
pick it
getting
up,
involved.
And then they're in the final third already around the penalty area, and they can operate in them tight areas.
Yeah. This was half a chance for Tammy in the end. He couldn't quite pick up that on the half volley. Ended up the ball coming up in the air, and the goalkeeper does well just to sort of smother him a little bit in the end. But what we are seeing in these clips, Tim, we're not seeing Chelsea with as much room and as much and the area is far more condensed, and there's a lot more traffic in and around Tammy Abraham. This one again, if his feet are a little bit tidier, maybe that's not a gimme.
No, what you're seeing now is fighting off scraps, isn't he? You know, and it wasn't like that in the early part of the season. There's more room for him to operate, more room for all of the team to operate. You're quite right when you're saying
that's a better route.
That's the one. That's where he wants it. He's tried to gather that there. Now he needs to lay it off and get himself in the penalty area. If he's in the penalty box, he's a real danger. No one wants to mark him in there. But he's still developing. I'll make that point. And I don't think he's dropped off because he's young. I think a lot of players who are not young players in the Chelsea squad have dropped off. They haven't been great in the last 13 games. In the first 12, they were fantastic.
Yeah, no, they certainly were. They certainly were. Let me just go back to the two teams just very quickly, Tim. So I just want to ask you a question about where United will defend them. With what we've just spoke about there, will this be a Man United back four that's going to sit up here, or will it be a Man United back four that wants to get up the pitch and hit the halfway line?
Well, it certainly won't be that. We know how Ole wants to operate. He wants to operate as a counter-attacking side. Now, years gone by, we know what Man United are going to give us. They have their own identity. Now they do not. You know, is he going to go with a three with Luke Shaw in there? And then play Williams out here? We don't know. We've set them up as a back four. This is how they was last time out, with Wan-Bissaka there. But they're a counter-attacking team. They're a counter-attacking team. Even in the first game of the season, when they win at Old Trafford, they still counter-attacked. There was 55% possession on Chelsea's side. They was at home there. This will suit them. Being at the bridge, Chelsea will come on. We've seen that. They will sit deep and they will counter-attack like they've done to great success at home to Tottenham when they got a good result, and away at the Etihad on a couple of occasions when they've done very, very well.
What we'll do, Tim, listen, after this very short break, we're going to focus a little bit more on United, exactly how they're going to combat Manchester United. One thing's for sure, OleGunnarSolskjaer spent a lot of money on Bruno Fernandes. He's got to create the right pocket, the right space for him to really show what he can do. Welcome back to The Analysis Show. Don't forget you can get in contact with us at #TheAnalysisShow. We'll get through some of your questions a little later in the show. We focused on Chelsea very much in part one. So now, Tim, time to turn our attention to Manchester United. You just started to touch on some of their intricacies just before the break there. So is OleGunnarSolskjaer, has he got a back four, Tim, or has he got a back five? What are they, Man United? Tell me. What do you think they are? Can you be in 8th position in this league, a team that's trying to get themselves back to where they once were? Can you chop and change from a 4 to a 5? Can you do that? Should you do that? What do you think?
Not if you're Manchester United. You should have your own playing identity. You should stick to your identity and you should say, let other teams worry about us. Ole doesn't do that. He chops and changes from one week to the next because he hasn't got the confidence in the squad of players what he's got at his disposal at the moment. If it was me, I would go with a 4. These guys are all used to playing in a 4.
This 4?
Wan-Bissaka, certainly.
This 4, Tim?
I think this 4, with De Gea behind them, are the best what he's got at the moment. And I like Williams. I think he's done brilliantly well. I think he's more of a wing-back. I think he'll play either side. He's a very good academy player with a lot of versatility who you can use for your squad. But he's not at the moment a make-the-difference player. This is where the problems arise, in my opinion. Fred, Fernandes, going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he only played once. Pereira and Mata, the best five-a-side team you're ever going to see in the Premier League. But unfortunately, the game is not played on a five-a-side pitch. Yeah. You need legs. You need energy. You need Paul Pogba. You need McTominay. You need someone who's got the energy to get across, get his foot in, and play a proper game of football. These are tippy-tappy players, good players, all of them, technically very good, but all very, very similar. You need a blend. You need a cocktail in here. And what they've got is all very bland, same players. Good players, technically, on a small area, but they need to open up the pitch and they need to hurt the opposition without a number 9. I keep going on about it. This kid is not a number 9. He wants to play here. He wants to play off the left, but they have no options. Marcus Rashford is injured at the moment, and I keep banging on about it. A ridiculous decision, in my opinion. Get rid of Lukaku, and every single week in Italy scoring goals.
Yeah, we can't do nothing about that. No. What we can do, Tim, is we can turn our attention to the bench. Yeah. And we can have a look at potentially making a few changes. McTominay back in the frame. You would think he would definitely... I agree. I would absolutely agree. I think Andreas Pereira, you know, has done OK to a point, but I think all of a sudden that looks a little bit better. Look, I'm assuming, I was nudging him forward. I'm assuming this is where this boy's going to be.
He's a number 8. He's number 8, so normally either side, so whether Fred goes there, I think they leave Fred in there, Andy. Okay. I think they do, and Fernandes will play either side. If they play one number 6 in McTominay, maybe they go with 2, and that would mean Matic comes in and maybe Fred drops out. 100% Fernandes is playing. I think he's a good player. I really do. But it's going to take time to settle. You can't expect him to be the main man at the moment, just coming in. I don't think he plays matter. If they want to play counter-attacking football, as we think they were going to suffer out of possession. They're going to allow Chelsea to have possession, and they're going to try and catch them on the counter-attack. So Mata, for me...
Let's take him off, Tim.
The only reason he might play is because it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
And sometimes he manages to have it in their heads that maybe Greenwood or Ighalo. I don't think Ighalo's done enough. For me, I would play James out there. If Ighalo's done enough training, I would play him.
Right, you do that.
Because he's a vocal point. He gives you that size. He gives you that presence. He backs in. He likes to fill. He likes to bring others in. That, for me, is a decent size. Because you've got him in the best position, Andy.
Yeah. Now, you've got a team, haven't you, like that? You're exactly right what you're saying. You have got a team that at Stamford Bridge, if they find themselves in this situation and all of a sudden Harry Maguire manages to get it here and drop something into this channel, you've got guys that can run, that can get in there, that can catch the game up and that can perhaps potentially be a bit of a threat.
Yeah.
I like that, and I like watching. Manchester United against Manchester City have been terrific at times this season. They played some of their very best counter-attacking football. But they can't seem to take that into enough games, Tim. They just can't. Here, look, we'll show you some of their finest counter-attacking work. This was actually against Chelsea in that opening game, where this is Paul Pogba, who just takes a simple pass off McTominay here, skips past the challenge, and he's not coming back.
That's Paul at his best. I mean, that is what they haven't got at the moment. He can't get it because he's out injured. If they could get him back in the side, I think he gives them so much. I've always said it, he's a world-class player. But there's no point in having a world-class player who doesn't want to be at a club. If it's a world-class player who's happy to be at Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, get him back as soon as possible. Look at the counter-attack here.
Look at all the red shirts and the way they then really start to fly.
Yeah, all the spaces here. I mean, look, I get fortunate with the slip, but they're all bombing forward. They're happy to sit there, wait for the opportunity with the grass in front and all bomb into it and explode. They were unlucky not to score there, Marcus Rashford. Yeah. But they did that time and time again to Man City, and it puts doubts in the opposition's mind.
That is, you know, top play. This was
McTominay again.
Yeah, McTominay pinching the ball.
Grass in front. James said, and now he got to fill up the box, and there's the equaliser against Liverpool.
Yeah. So why is it, Tim? Why is it then that if they can do that against Liverpool, if they can sprint past beyond them?
Oh, what a reaction that is.
Yeah. You
ain't seeing that great reaction.
It is a good reaction. Why is it they can't do it against
teams that don't? If the teams sit back against them, they struggle.
So that's the same, a bit like we're saying against same sort of thing you could apply to Chelsea.
Yeah.
If a team just sits deep. Yeah. It's then they haven't got, what is it, the craft?
The guile with the players who can play like the Silvers and the Gundogan's and the De Bruyne's and the Raheem Sterlings. So they haven't got
these
them
boys
guys
can't do it. They haven't got that in them, these guys.
Not really. Not to the extent, I mean, Mata probably is the best one who can operate in a tight area, but you can't have them all the same.
No.
There's nothing wrong with being a counter-attacking team if you can do it correctly. At the moment, they're caught in between two stools. You know, they want to sit back as a counter-attacking side, but the team what we had initially up there, they've got no pace to counter-attack. So you're setting up with all the grass in behind, but when you win it, you're having to have 5 passes to get yourself up the field, rather than when you've got Greenwood, when you've got Rashford, when you've got James, pick the ball up and bomb forward and keep running with it and take the opposition back into their own half, and then you're playing the game in the opposition half. And that is what the Manchester United crowd want to see. They want to be off their seats. It doesn't matter if they're keeping the possession and having dominating possession. They don't care about that too much now.
When they're in this scenario, it's not a problem. It's when, Tim, it's when they're here, isn't it? This is the problem United have. It's when they're at home and it's 0-0 and they're up against the team in front of 76,000 people that they should beat, and that they're camped in their half and they can't seem to find the right avenues to break teams down. We've seen a fair bit of that where they get a bit static and they lack a bit of a threat. I was actually commentating on this one, on the Wolves game, and I've got to say it was a poor game. Neither team really got going, but in particular United, I saw a lot of this, Tim, where they get to a point and it's like nothing much is ever really going to disturb Connor Cody and his boys at the back here.
I mean, the run, Martial's run is all in front. The two centre-halves can see where he is. Go run in there. Go and actually run in there. Move yourself in there. And then they will take the two centre-backs back, and you open up the space in there for your number 10s. In this area.
In this area there, yeah, indeed. But Luke Shaw stepping, he's looking. In the end, nothing. He has to just drop it there. And they're all really looking for something. They're trying to thread it through the eye of a needle, and it's very, very easily picked off. As it was pretty much most of the evening against Wolves.
I mean, he worries me. Martial worries me because everything is always in front. If you're a defender, you know where he is. You can see him, and you can always see the ball. If you stop it there, Andy.
Yep.
See there, I mean, Martial, there he is there.
Yep.
I mean, it's too predictable. I mean, get yourself round here. Get yourself round here and making runs in there.
Yeah.
You know, so, and even if you're not getting the ball, you're doing it unselfishly to open up space for your teammates.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see that. He does not know the game. He just plays off the cuff.
So again, wandering into it, he's coming in short.
Yeah, they can see him.
He's in, look, nothing in behind, nothing, no threat at all in this
We don't
area.
care if he comes off short and gets it there, as long as you've got midfield players who are running in there or in there. And the only one I see who does that is Paul Pogba when he's playing, or Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard was at his best when Lukaku was there, because at a focal point, if he wanted to come short, he would run off him. If Lukaku wanted to bully people and hold them off, he would make runs off at the front of him. At the moment, they haven't got anyone who can hold that ball up and move them defenders around.
Yeah.
So it's all bland. It's all very, very bland in front.
Do you know, the atmosphere at Old Trafford on the night as well, everyone was, there was hardly any noise, honestly. Everyone was, because it was one of those games where everyone was hoping that someone was just going to do something to get them out of trouble, but they just couldn't do it on the night. Again, look, there, Tim, look in the danger zone.
Yeah.
This is Old Trafford, you know. Look he's come so far out.
There's your centre-forward.
There's your centre-forward again, yeah. But that, as you say, that's because he's not really a nine, is he? He's not a nine, and he's naturally probably feeling like if I just stand around in here, I'm not doing enough for the team. I tell you,
if Igalo's fit enough to play, I know he never went to Spain. That is where you'll find him. Wait for the goal. He will stand in there. He will stand in there and he will want himself get marked. Now, he wants to feel defenders. He's happy when he can feel them. And then you can pick your runs. We were midfield players. We know if someone's going to be there and you're rolling the ball in, roll and follow the pass. And then he can just lay balls off and you have shots at goal. But he won't get involved in making runs in the channels. He'll want to stay wit for the goal.
Do you know, we're going to come on to, we're going to talk about Odion Ighalo, Tim. And actually, when he was at Watford, and he had this brilliant season in 15-16, this one in particular, and they were, as you can see from the numbers, in stark contrast. All of his goals, every Premier League goal he scored, Tim, been in the box.
Yeah.
From in the box.
Yeah.
So he's not one of those guys that's going to get it, run from the halfway line and hit one in from 30 yards. This guy, as you just mentioned there, wants to get in the box, wants to get in and around. I mean, is he potentially are we missing the point with Ighalo? Is he potentially a starter for Man United going forward, or is this guy an option off the bench?
Well, they bought him for now, haven't they? I mean, they've only got him till the end of the season. He'll want to stay there. Biggest club in the world. He can't believe his luck. He's pinching himself every morning that he's woke up and he's a Man United player.
This is some of the stuff, Tim, from his Watford days.
But he's good, and he can play. Now, that was a long time ago, this was. But he can play. He scores in the Premier League. He has done. Look, just wants to get it onto his right foot, picks it up. His scruffy goals he scores. He's not a tidy player, you know, but you don't look at this one. Look, Skirtle, he's marking him. Bullying. Get off.
Would he have been as good without someone like Troy Deeney doing a lot of unselfish work in and around him and taking a lot of weight off him? He won't have that at United necessarily.
He won't, but I think he'll have midfield players joining from deeper. That is where he wants. See how he just filled it. That's the worst mistake you can make with him.
Right.
Is let him fill you.
Let him get too tight.
If you let him fill you, he will cause you all sorts of problems. This is unusual for him, dragging wide. But what does he want to do? They want to pass it. He's not looking to pass it. They want someone who can score goals. He can certainly do that. He will be so motivated to earn himself a long-term contract at Manchester United. So the answer is he going to be used off the bench? Maybe initially because he's short of fitness. But with the injuries they've got at the moment, why not start him? I would be very tempted to start him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd be really interested to see exactly which way they go, whether or not they do end up turning to someone like him. One guy that obviously dominated a lot of the headlines, Tim, in the last game was this man, was Bruno Fernandes. First and foremost, what did you make of his game against Wolves? What did you think?
I mean, he would have felt at home. There were so many Portuguese players on the pitch, weren't there, with the Wolves team, you know. So, a great stage. He would have got a taste for it. He will get better as time goes on, learning about his teammates. But one thing I noticed that they learnt about him, they were always looking for him. You know, he was a reference. They were looking. Look, his game was average on the night.
He likes to play in these sort of areas, Tim, anywhere across here, doesn't he?
Just in behind. You see, just get in there, Andy. Just in behind the midfield areas, you know. He likes to operate in there, doesn't he? Little sneak positions.
He did
almost
first
like
half.
number 10s.
Yeah.
But he plays simple. I think in time he will be a little bit more confident to pass it forward a lot more. You know, he's got the ability to. We saw him have a couple of shots. We'll see him on the clips a bit later on. He's obviously got good energy. I mean, he's no size. I mean, he's about 10 stone wet through, isn't he? But he doesn't have to be big. You know, he looks like he's got a head on a swivel, wants to play forward, but he's looking to play safe. It's his first game at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Didn't want to keep giving the ball away, so he was just playing nice and safe. That's a great pass.
Yeah.
But then there's no one forward. You know, the balance of the side is all wrong at the moment. It's not complimenting Fernandes.
Yeah.
Or anyone.
Yeah, see, first half
That's
again,
the position.
playing in that half position, just in behind midfield players, picking it up.
Yeah. I don't mind that, because he's picked up that position. It's a clever position to pick up. Yes, he gives the ball away in the end, but it's a good position to have. But if you had more people bombing forward, then perhaps the defenders wouldn't be as tight to him. You know, it would open up space for him.
What we did see, second half, Tim, second half, he seemed to become almost the pivot in midfield, just sitting in front of the back four. Now, look, Ollie had to change something, and out of all of the personnel that he had, he probably felt he was best at keeping the ball, trying to pass from this deeper position, but didn't really suit him either, did it, working there? Not really second half. I didn't think it suited him to work quite so deep as that. Again, you can see him here, in and alongside Fred. Juan Mata it was who played more of a 10, pushed forward a little bit further. And he tried to spray it about, he tried to get his team, you know, forward and mobile in that direction, but they haven't paid 46 million quid, probably going up to 60 million pound for someone who's just going to knock 10-yard passes in front of the back four.
No, not really. I mean, you get someone from the academy to do that, but I think it's really difficult to judge him. It takes time.
After one game, correct. Yeah.
But I think he's confident. I think the players will know. They would have learned a lot more in the training camp how good this kid actually is and how you can trust him.
This he does well, Tim.
Yeah.
That's what he's got, I think. I think he's got a whipped delivery, and I think he's got a whipped free kick. He's got a shot that he can whip and dip it, a bit like what Gylfi Sigurdsson has got in an Everton shirt. He can do that sort of stuff.
He's delivering it in no one in the box.
No.
You know, he's delivering it into areas. That's a good pass. I mean, he could have easily been sucked in there and give it to the two runners. Now they have got bodies forward.
Yeah.
You know, and but as you're quite rightly saying, he's just orchestrating the game now. But they've got too many to do that. They were too similar in that midfield area, and it doesn't complement him. Without doubt, I think he's a good signing. I think he will just get better and better. That great position, picks it up, and this is what he gives you. This is what we see him do time and time again. Yes, it's 40 yards out. You're not going to score many goals like that in the English Premier League.
No.
Yes, he did in Portugal, but he's having shots at goal. You know, he's not afraid to express himself.
Yeah, no,
I think
exactly
in
right.
time, the confidence, and when the crowd get behind him and they start picking up a few wins, confidence will grow. He will grow as a person, as a player.
Look, it is a big game. 6 points, Chelsea's lead over United going into this one on Monday night. What are you thinking? What's your gut feeling? If the guys that we set up were playing, Tim, in the way that you wanted them both set up, what do you think?
I'm worried for Man United because of this goals. I think to win the game, you need to score a goal. Obviously, I think they've got better threats. I think Tammy might be hitting it. I think he's got better options. I think William will come in there. He's a goal threat as well. It'll be a tight game. It's a tough one to call. It could go either way, but I just give it to Abraham and Chelsea because I think they've got more goal threats than Manchester United have at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see what happens between Chelsea and Man United. That's a really good game to look out for on Monday evening. On Friday, it's Wolves against Leicester, and Leicester have a flyer in their ranks. Young Harvey Barnes has got some serious pace, and he's had a rapid rise to the top so far this season.
What a strike! Harvey Barnes introduces himself with something rather extraordinary. Barnes able to bring